फर्मुला यहाँभित्र Hi, we are new to the town. Could you please describe a bit more about this place?
All right. So welcome to this is the Wolf Flying Doctors Visitors Experience. So basically what we have inside the experience is just an overview of what we do here, the history of the Wolf Flying Doctors, and we also have a bunch of stories about people who've had to use the services in emergencies or how it keeps them alive and allows them to live their more outback lifestyle. So we have what we have inside is what we call the talking table.
Yeah.
Basically it's a bunch of projections of actual people, and you can interact and listen to their stories.
Oh wow.
It's really interesting. So how they have to utilize the service. Further in, we actually have a massive display area, a big board of all the screens.
Oh, wow.
And on the screens are all the live flight data, statistics about what we're doing at the moment,
Yeah.
how everything's in operations. And we also have a movie that goes about for 8 minutes every 45 minutes, I believe. And basically it's another story about people who've had to use it and what type of emergencies. One of the emergencies they were in, they were traveling like 100 kilometers an hour on a motorbike,
Yep.
and they didn't have a helmet on, as they do, and had a collision which caused one of them to have a concussion, heavy bleeding. And so he had to call in the Wolf Flying Doctors. They flew in, picked him up and took him to the local hospital, which saved his life. So there's some stories like that. There's also further on some history about it. So I have some has some of the radios you can work with and how they had to do long distance education. So you can grab the radio, you can actually listen to one of the old lessons, which is really interesting. I've been talking. We have lots of ambassadors as well. I'll get to that. The ambassadors they are volunteers. They're really passionate about the RTS. So they'll talk to you about the stories. They'll actually take you into the beginning of the exhibit. They'll talk to you about the stories, what they do here, and they've got lots of those stories themselves. One of the ladies here, she used to actually be a long-distance education teacher, and so she, back in her day, obviously in our day, everything's online, you can always see each other. Back in her day, they had the radio,
Wow.
and so she talked about how, because it's an open frequency, all the radio truckers would drop in and say hi, pop into the lesson, and so
That's interesting.
it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have lots of volunteers. They have full of stories. Today, actually, we have a lot of really high skilled volunteers. Not just high skilled, but really knowledgeable, and so they know a lot of things. But we do have a couple of retired aircraft, the King Air, just in the back. You can't actually go inside it, but you can look inside. It's quite deep.
Okay.
So so it's, you can see what it's like to be inside. We also have a cockpit area or cabin, sorry. And so we have some AR tablets, so you can look around with the tablet and see what it's like to actually be in a plane during takeoff, during flying, during landing. So you can see what kind of conditions they're working with. Also a good photo opportunity if you're interested.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have to get a ticket to get in here?
Yeah, so there's a ticket. I can give you this.
Yep.
So adults are 18, concessions are 15. But if you're local to the area, like you said, if you're able to prove residency with a license or anything that contains a postcode, you'll actually be able to get reduced about 25 to 20% off. I'm still new here, so I'm learning.
Oh, that's
myself.
alright.
Yeah. So I can leave that with you, and yeah. should be good.
And are we allowed to take the photos and video inside
Yeah,
here?
perfectly allowed.
Oh,
to.
good.
Yes.
Thank you. Pitraco Cafe.
And the youngest one was only 14.
Let's Royal Flying Doctor Service. Double.
Take a long time because there's a lot in here to see.
Hi, do you mind if I take video here? Should
Depends
we
how fast they are, how slow you are.
Yes, you do fast.
So what about I do some talking and then you do the video?
Alright, that will do.
When I finish talking to you, you can do the video.
one is really interesting.
These are really interesting.
What can you hear there?
System of fear.
Question. Ask the question. Wait a minute.
If you live on the other side of the garden where we were, the planes hadn't broken up picture of the ground. If you live on this side of the garden, you were trying to get it into the area to pick it up. Cool, so I tried to get 1991.
So that's just okay.
This is just one. I was thinking that's a 3-year.
No. Primary healthcare services है कैसे यंत्र medical clinic dental setup.
My name is Christy James. I'm a nurse with the Royal Flying Doctors. My qualifications are I'm a registered nurse and I have extensive experience in private healthcare.
यो चाहिँ एउटा मेडिकल चेस्ट भनेर कोड हुँदो रहेछ यसमा चाहिँ जब अब कसैले फोन गरेर सन्चो भएन भन्नु चाहिँ त्यो फ्लाइङ डक्टर नर्सले चाहिँ कोड दिँदो रहेछ तँलाई कहाँ दुख्या भनेर उसले सपोज टु बी त्यहाँनिर छातीमा दुख्या दाहिनेपट्टि भन्यो भने कहाँनिर भन्दाखेरि उसले 1 नम्बर भनेर भन्ने अनि त्यही अनुसार चाहिँ अब यहाँ औषधिको पनि ग्रुप हुँदो रहेछ उसले यहाँ नम्बर वाइज अब यसरी यहाँ अगाडि भयो भने चाहिँ 1 2 3 पछाडिकोलाई चाहिँ एबीसी कोड दिएको रहेछ कि अनि अब त्यस्तो भयो भने चाहिँ अब 170 भनेर कोड आयो भने
सो सुरु भएछ
It hit a root and bucked back into an old fence. The wire caught my leg, twisted around the organ where it broken the ankle, just above the ankle, and then tore it off the knee.
We were heading out to Muster Cattle. There were 4 men, including my husband Matt, riding motorbikes, and I was following behind in a Suzuki. Well, he didn't have a helmet on, none of them did, starters, and they were going at quite a fast pace, and he hit a mound on the side of the road, which made his tyre skip into it. He flew 50 metres in the air, and while he flew in the air, we think that he collided with his mate on the way. I saw Lachlan running towards me, waving me down, and he told me that Matt had an accident. The bike had landed on his head and crushed his head, and he was bleeding and he was unresponsive.
I went in the classroom, I was sitting there with the kids, and I sort of felt no. I just thought a cup of water might do me good. So when I got up, I got a bit staggered. I started feeling a bit dizzy. Told me, you know what, I think I've had a stroke, because my left arm's all tingly. Buddy come to check on me, and I told him, can you go and see out Sister Margaret? I think something's happening to me here. There was a chap with me, he tore the spark plug wire off the motor, he didn't know how to turn it off either. So I said, come on and get Dad. We're only 4 miles away. So away he went.
By the time I got back to the house, I honestly, I didn't know what to do, and I was panicking walking through the house. I knew that Lockie had rung the Flying Doctor already and that they were already on their way. Two of the guys stayed out with Matt. One was very good with first aid. One of the guys took his shirt off and they wrapped it around his head to try and stop the bleeding. At the beginning he was unresponsive, he wasn't doing anything, and eventually he started to roll around a little bit and mumble words that weren't making any sense. Boys didn't really want me there, and I actually can't think straight when accidents happen. I do panic and I don't know what to do, especially when it's someone that you love. plane out of the airstrip. The doctor and nurse got into the ute and we drove 4 kilometres out to where Matt was. They stabilised him at the site. They used a stretcher and lifted him onto the back of the ute. The doctor sat with him on the back of the ute while they drove back to the house, and then they loaded him on the Flying Doctor plane.
So they couldn't operate on it straight away. Well, it was dark, or just dark at the airport, if I remember right. It was after 11 o'clock, I think, before they took me into theatre. I'd lost that much blood that they couldn't operate. Of course, I woke up in bed and the first thing I'd done was kick my other foot over.
They flew us to Broken Hill. He spent the day in hospital there. They were worried about bleeding the brain, so they ended up flying us onto Adelaide that late that afternoon, where he spent 10 days, and about 2 weeks after that we came home.
I didn't realise until I moved out here how isolated some of these properties are and how much of nothing there is. Some of these places are very isolated and without the RCS providing medical services and emergency care. It really is a lifeline to these people.
I think not only do we provide the emergency services, but we also provide the we enable people who live in smaller communities to stay where they're happy, where their families are, particularly if they're going to be well.
So they're working in remote areas, they're jobs that are risky, working with sheep, cattle, and heavy machinery. So workplace accidents are unfortunately common, and knowing that we won't be far away if something happens, is a great reassurance to me.
With the Flying Doctor, we're really big and the truth is government. Without them, something that we have to survive, we'd be money for that. Really?
Over the years that I've been in Kelly, I have run them numerous times and also thought they might be sick of me. I obviously wouldn't be able to get out here without I've been in a serious situation. You can call them 24 hours.
I've got a bit sleep trips and on the fly doctor's plane, just to be enough to get the freedom flyers points. So no, the flying doctor is a godsend to the bush. It must have saved many lives. And I'm sort of confident of saving more.
के फोटो खिच्न मिल्छ भन्दै थियो होइन
त्यही भएर म बस्न आएको के गरिरहेको मेरो यस्तरी चाहिँ यहाँ चाहिँ यस्तो गरेँ होइन अनि यहाँ यसरी आफूले चलाएको जस्तो गरेर फोटो आउँदैछ यस्तो गरेँ अब टक्क यहाँ उता हेर्नु त्यही भएर यस्तो गरेँ होइन अब मैले यहाँबाट यसले भन्छ
Here we go.
अब यहाँ
3, 2, 1. Developing photos.
फोटो आयो होइन अब चाहिँ अब यहाँ जाने अब यहाँ आफ्नो नाम लेख्ने
नाम अनि मोबाइल नम्बर
त्यसपछि मोबाइल नम्बर लेख्यो सरी आफ्नो नम्बर बिर्सियो
फर्मिलाको मोबाइल नम्बर पब्लिक हुने भयो
त्यही भएर मलाई काम डिलिट गरेको नि साथी
अनि भने
मैले पठाउँछु त्यसपछि इमेल एड्रेस गरेँ होइन अनि आफ्नो इमेल एड्रेसमा टक्क फोटो आउँछ म फोटो आएको पनि देखाउँछु कस्तो आयो भनेर तपाईँहरूलाई अब मलाई चाहिँ निकालिदिन्छ होला मैले धेरै फोटो खिचिसकेँ
खै अब तिम्रो इमेल चेक गर त फोटो देखाउ त कस्तो आएछ
फोटो अहिले चाहिँ अघि नै अब अघि नैकोमा चाहिँ फोटो
ए आइसक्यो त कति चाँडै
ए भर्खरै आइसक्यो यो
नाइस वान
होइन तिम्रो
अब के गर्ने जाने
अब हामी जाने
जा Go inside.
Doctor sat over there. Patient was in there.
Okay. And then how can we go from
Oh,
here?
no, you can't
No,
get
you
in.
can't get inside.
I'm actually trying to get in.
You can't touch it. It's made out of special fabric.
Yeah.
That's where the pilot sat up here. I like that sign over there.
Interesting.
No smoking.
Smoking room. You don't smoke?
This was the first plane they used back in 1932. The original one was destroyed in a fire in the hangar at Broken Hill. And this one was rebuilt. They did this over near Newcastle. Maitland, they rebuilt it, took the wings off, put it on a car carrier, got it in through the door, put the wings back on. Now, see this one out here?
Yeah.
That's mine. That's what I tow around to the schools and the field days. That's 1.75 tonne. That is exactly the same as the one in there, except there's no wings and no tail. And underneath it is all the pumps and everything for the oxygen, so the nurses train in there. Now, do you want to have a look in there?
Yeah. You want this?
Yeah, I don't own it, but I drive it.
Then you need to take us for a drive then.
And shut the door, I can't get back in.
Alright.
This is set up for training nurses. Did you know this door's not in the real plane? They're allowed just to let them through. Right, go and have a look.
Thank you.
That's the actual size. Watch your head. I know you're only short, but
Yeah.
have a look at the switches in the cockpit.
Wow.
Our last dentist was 6'4".
It smells like hospital. Isn't it?
Now, in the real plane,
Okay.
there's not that much room because there's a lot more gear in there.
Oh, there is a.
See the stretcher on this side?
Yeah,
I've
infusion
been in that
pump.
one twice, in that position.
Oh.
On the real plane, when they flew me over to get the pacemaker.
Oh, you got a pacemaker.
Yeah, they saved my life. So I towed this thing around. I towed it to Broken Hill and down out to Ningin for the mental
Still
health
you do
program.
this?
Pardon?
Still you drive this?
Yes, I towed with that. Towed round to the Colorado.
Why we need to tow this? Just to bring them here?
No, I take it to the schools and field days and mental health programs and things like that. We take it out to those.
Oh, interesting.
So we can like post these videos and photos in the social media. That's
yes,
fine.
as you said, yep.
Okay, all good. Thank you.
Winter over there now, summer. He comes here, Dubbo in summer.
Oh, that is
Yes, that's a jet. That's the biggest plane that can land at Dubbo Airport because it weighs 60 tonne load. That's the biggest one they can take on the other bit.
But that is
It's here ready for fire.
But this time, this is a good weather this year.
Yes, so far it's been pretty good.
Okay.
Yep.
हामी त्यसै आज गएको यो रोयल फ्लाइङ डक्टर सर्भिस कस्तो रहेछ त भनेर जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ एकदम रमाइलो लाग्यो पछि अब सबैजनालाई लिएर आइन्छ अब यो ठाउँमा मम्मीहरूलाई ल्याउनु चाहिँ पाइँदैन अस्ति आउँदाखेरि अब साथी
अनप्लान त्यसै हिँडेको कहाँ कहाँ पुग्यो